So let's take a look at some roots and radicals. And this is called a radical sign. And the number that's underneath the radical sign or the variable is called the radicand. And this whole expression is called a radical. And if I wanted to find out, well, what does it mean to be the square root of 49? This is called a square root when I don't put a number here. And if I want to find out, well, what does that mean? What I'm looking at is what times itself equals 49. And so the answer to that would be 7. So the square root of 49 would be equal to 7. And a negative square root of 49 would be equal to negative 7. Now if I wanted to say what's the square root of negative 49, I would look at that and say, well, what times itself equals negative 49? And at this point in this class, you do not have an answer for that. So in this class, you cannot do. When you take Math 90, you will learn something called imaginary numbers, and you will be doing that in that course. But in this course, the square root of 49, you cannot do. So let's take a look at some other examples. If I say the square root of 0, that's equal to 0. Like I just said, square root of negative 4 is not a real number, since 2 times 2 is equal to 4, and negative 2 times a negative 2 equals 4. I can't have one of the numbers be 2 and the other be a negative 2. Okay, let's take a look at some other types of roots. So I could say, well, what is 2 cubed equal to? That's 2 times 2 times 2, which equals 8. So I can say this is called the cube root, and the little number that sits inside the radical sign is called an index. And when I say what is the cube root of 8, I am asking what times itself times itself times itself 3 times is equal to 2. Now let's take a look at what the cube root of negative 8 would be. So I'm trying to find what times itself 3 times is equal to a negative 8. Well, that answer will be equal to a negative 2, because I can go negative 2 times negative 2 times negative 2, and that would give me a negative 8. So the cube root of a negative 8 is a negative 2. Here's another example where my index is 4. If I want the fourth root of 16, I'm trying to find what times itself times itself times itself 4 times is equal to 16. Well, that would be 2. So the fourth root of 16 would be equal to 2. Now there is a list that can help you, and these are our common roots. So the square root of 1 is 1, square root of 4 is 2, square root of 9 is 3, square root of 16 is 4, square root of 25 is 5, square root of 36 is 6, square root of 49 is 7, and so on. It's really easy to make this list. Just go 2 times 2 is 4, so the square root of 4 is 2. 3 times 3 is 9, so the square root of 9 is 3.